is to get him a new pair of slides that he finds comfortable and at least something he can wear on a daily basis.
But I'm very loyal to him because...
You're loyal to the point of
fashion. It's non-existent with it. Well, it's where I'm at now fashion-wise in regards to, like, my collection, too. It's all comfort. I wear nothing but sweat shorts, long sleeves, and slides. I never wear... I don't put on jeans unless I have to. That's my goal in life. And so, being that that's my outfit, I don't wear a lot of sneakers as much in my collection anymore. Like, a lot of my Jordans I still have. But what happened is I have a pair of OVO all-white Jordan 12s.
Yeah.
And I travel and DJ a lot. And those are usually my go-to shoe. Like the 12, because I'm usually wearing jeans. 12s look great with jeans.
They're a good jean shoe. They're pretty durable.
They're pretty durable. They're a lot thicker with the leather, so I can beat them up a little bit more. But what started was, and they're an all-white shoe. And so as I was ending the peak of summer, all-white shoes, of course, are a summer look. Got that gold accent. And so it's just a great shoe that goes with a lot of my outfit choices. But few parties that I DJ to go. It was an event at Idaho State. I show up the day of the event. They're like, oh, by the way, it's a paint party as well. I'm like, well, damn. And so I didn't really have another choice because I still wanted to stunt while I was on the stage. And
I've been there. I've been in situations like that.
It's like, well,
but I wasn't wearing OVOs. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's gotten to the point. So I got the OVOs this past summer, like in May.
Yeah.
And to tell you how much like I've beaten them up because I
remember when they were fresh. I remember when they were
brand almost
like
DS.
Yeah, considered lightly worn on eBay.
Yeah. And so I got them around May. I brought them out to Seattle with me. And then just to kind of give you guys some context, it's now the end of September. And the owls on the inside, I've already worn them out on the sole.
Yeah, and they're a tint of gray.
Yeah.
And it's a white insert.
And it's because, when I'm DJing, I'm jumping on stage. I'm sweating like for 4 or 5 hours, whatever it is, going hard in the paint. And
so that brings me to an interesting topic I wanted to kind of discuss with you is where do you draw the line between keeping shoes nice, keeping these hype shoes nice, and using shoes? Because I feel like, at least me personally, I have everything from shoes I will probably not wear in the future until I get a second, third pair of them, just so I feel comfortable wearing them. And then I have shoes that I've had, like you said, since early middle school that I just beat up to the ground, like a pair of Vans. You know, like I have a pair of blue Vans that have big holes in them, and I wear those to parties. No one's looking at my feet at parties because it's all, to me, the parties we go to it's pretty dark. So, you know, so I'm fine, kind of not at social events like that where I know I'm gonna like beat up shoes to wear literally just beaters, just kicks. And I just wanted to get your perspective of where do you think people should draw the line? Should people be wearing all their shoes? Should people be taking care of their shoes? I mean, you and me we always see the hot knife challenge on YouTube where they cut a Yeezy in half, or they cut
they light them on fire.
Yeah.
They pop the
bubble, the Vapor Maxes or something. So yeah, it's an interesting world out there.
For me personally, it's definitely like my mindset has changed. Like when I first started collecting, it was all about keeping them as clean as possible. I want people to think they're brand spanking new every time I throw them on my feet whenever I go out. I mean, to this day, I do my best to make sure I don't go out of my way to trash any of my shoes. But when I was a kid, when I first started collecting, I would walk a certain way so I wouldn't crease the shoes. Mm-hmm. You know, the little chicken walk where you're like on the back of your heels type deal. As extent like where I'd get pissed off if someone stepped on my shoes, like to the point where I'd almost fight someone. But fast forward to where I'm at now, my mindset's like, I have shoes like the OVOs, like, you know, dead stock. Those are worth $600-$700 with the box. But where I'm at now is like at the end of the day they're going on my feet, and I still try to do my best to keep shoes clean and do what I can with them, but my passion for shoes has changed where my mind says like, look, at the end of the day, yes, I might have spent money on it, but I spent money on them to wear them.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at personally. And there's a lot of people that like you. I'd say you're a little bit more tedious when it comes to like keeping your shoes clean.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think it goes back to me barely being in the sneaker game right now because I remember my senior year when I'm getting into Jordans. We were talking about this the other night. How I saw the 11s, the Concord 11s, and I wanted a pair of those. I wanted a pair of the Flint 13s. And maybe some of like the low top 11s as well. Like those were my entry level Jordans that I liked. I really did not like any other sneaker that was considered hype. I didn't like any other Jordan, and I was just coming off this wave, the free run wave, where I'm a white guy, so I felt like in high school it was like every white guy had to go into the Nike town, go pick up a pair of free runs. That was their high school colors, and then they wear those for the rest of the school year, and by the end of the year they're pretty, beat up and used, and then you go and get another pair. And so my senior year, I didn't think shoes should cost more than maybe $150, depending on what it was, and when I found the prices of these shoes, because I was asking people where do you get these Jordans, and of course they all direct me to the resale market because I was like, I want to have real ones, I don't want to get fake ones, and I'm looking at $300 to $500, maybe even $600 for some of these shoes. I'm looking at just scrolling through Flight Club, and I know Flight Club is not the best place to get deals, but I'm just browsing and kind of getting a scope of what the sneaker culture is like, and I was shocked with these prices. So now, I feel like now, kind of coming full circle, now that I'm starting to actually get these shoes, I know the value of them, of certain shoes, and I know that you're pretty much, value is going away as you wear them to an extent. I have a pair of, and it's such a game too, with restocks and availability. I have a pair of these all white Ultra Boosts, and when they released them, they sold out. The resale market on those were like $270 for, I want to say, 6 months, and now you can hop on Adidas's website right now and buy the same pair of shoes for retail. And so value fluctuates, and so sometimes that kind of changes my opinion on should I be keeping my shoes nice or not. With those white Ultra Boosts, I'm a lot more comfortable wearing them around now than when I first got them. When I first got them, I didn't wear them for several months because it was one of my earlier pair of Boost shoes that I got, and I didn't, I was barely getting on that Adidas wave, and I didn't want to touch them, and now I know that they're, with Adidas getting so expansive with their Ultra Boost line, that I know if I need to get a new pair, it'll be pretty reasonable for me to be able to obtain one if I even have to go into the resale market for those, which is very unlikely. But I would agree that right now with certain shoes I have, I am pretty, I value them to an extent where I don't want to mess them up. Right. Like if I had a pair of OVOs, I would be cherishing them. I would not even risk wearing them to a party.
There is definitely people coming for my head that what I've done to these OVOs.
Oh, they've been through some,
and it's a point where
times.
Like, yes, like it kind of like hurts my heart because I got a great deal on them. Thomas knows I'm very frugal with how I spend money on my shoes.
And you network yourself enough to the point where you get to know the right people so you can get better
deals. For the
deals.
most part, I'd say I can pretty much get my hands on most shoes for if not retail, maybe a little bit below or above retail.
And
I'm at
I can
reasonable
respect
price.
that. I think when you delve into the resale market, I think there's a certain level that is acceptable. And then there's certain things where it's like, okay, you're obviously just doing anything for the shoe. You don't really care about, getting a good deal or waiting or having patience. And I feel like being in the sneaker community is such a big, like,
Who you know.
well, it's just patience.
Yeah.
Coming down to it.
And I've learned that.
Because if I was freaking out about not getting those Ultra Boosts, for example, and I decided to go buy them at the $270 price point, like if I wasn't patient, I wouldn't have the opportunity that I do now, whereas if I want to buy another pair, I can just get them for retail right now.
Exactly. I think that comes with, like, just experience with collecting, too, because, like, when I first started collecting, I used to flip if I didn't make it to the store on time for the drop or they sold out.
Yeah.
Because, like, when I first started collecting, bots were pretty fresh. They weren't, like, very prevalent.
Yeah, it was still
wasn't
line
as
up in
common.
person.
Yeah, I was pretty much, like, still, like, in a beta phase, quote unquote. But
yeah,
it was like either online I didn't wake up in time or I missed the drop in the store. I would flip out because I feel like at that time it was a lot harder to kind of acquire things if you missed a drop. Whereas nowadays it's like, boom, you really have no other choice besides paying resale if you don't have bots or anything. But kind of like bringing that background, it's like, I've been collecting for a little bit longer, so now it's like, since I've been collecting for so long, I've developed a lot of great connections, a lot of great relationships with a lot of collectors, a lot of other resellers, a lot of stores, to the point where I don't really trip out about releases. I don't really trip out about release dates, because like I said, kind of touched on, like, for the most part, I can usually get my hands on just about any shoe for a non-rape price. And I think that's what kind of helps me.
Excellent choice of words.
People are raping people for shoes out here, honestly, price-wise. Rape is not a funny topic. I'll bring it back a little bit. But anyways, so for me, it's like I'm a lot more comfortable going out with my shoes, like, because I know what I spent on them. And yeah, they might be worth X amount of dollars, but I'm using them for put on my feet. Like my original Flu Games from 96, 97.
Yeah.
I've worn those to parties, and now I have to
You've worn them
sole.
you've worn them around, you've worn them to class.
The only shoe in my collection that I will never, ever put on my feet, because every shoe that I buy, I have the intention of wearing. I don't care how much it was worth. There's one shoe that I will never wear in my collection, and it's my original Air Force Ones from 1982, all white, and they're in a glass case. My uncle gave this to me as a gift, and they're my pride and joy. They're original Air Force Ones from 1982, which is a big deal for me because from St. Louis, Nelly kind of like brought that culture to St. Louis and that Air Force culture. And they're all white, which is one of the most, I'd say, for my opinion, one of the most iconic Nike sneakers of all time. I think that she was ahead of his time. In my opinion, I'd definitely say it's in the top 3, top 5 most iconic Nike shoes in the sneaker culture. Anyways, that's another topic. But it's all white, original 1982, and it's also autographed by Nelly, which is like a big deal connectively to me because Nelly's from St. Louis. I'm from St. Louis. We grew up listening to that song, stomping in my Air Force Ones. Nelly autographed it. He said, "You're number one." Got that sitting in a glass case. And that's probably the only shoe in my collection that I would never ever wear. Now, there are...
And I can respect that.
Yeah.
Like, that, to me, that is completely understandable. And this kind of brings up another subject of there's the dollar value of these shoes, but then there's what to get kind of like a philosopher, I guess. It's like sentimental value that we give these shoes. And I feel like that's the basis of hype, of where it should be, because if you look at Jordan, the value people initially gave it is because what Jordan did, you know? Tinker Hatfield could have made those shoes for